Today is final Sunday in the first month of the new year. And as a song from Mahogany, if you remember that, one asks, do you like what life is showing you? If you do, then good for you. And if you don't, there's no time like the present to change your mind about a few things or everything. Henry David Thoreau wrote, "This world is but a canvas to our imagination." Now, though who we truly are is absolutely beyond our imagination. What we see as our body, as our relationships, as the world around us, as everything that we call our life and life, is exactly what we imagine it to be. Because the world we see comes from the images we hold as true in our mind. It's like a feels real movie reel that's going round and round in our mind. And our mind is like a projector and is playing out what is on that film, on the screen or the canvas of our mind, of our world, not our mind. Well, it's in our mind. The whole world is in our mind. And I needn't say anything else. If we want to see change in life, we have to change the film in the reel of our mind. We can't see what we don't believe is true, and we cannot unsee the images we believe are unchangeably there. Even though we may want a different life experience, if the difference doesn't feel real to us, it won't be on the film that we're projecting onto our world. When our imagination becomes an affirmation of our desires, and we know that if we can imagine it, that it's already ours within us, then our experience of life becomes a confirmation of the positivity of our imagination. And there's a rap song in there somewhere. So here's a few good questions for us to ask ourselves this morning. The first is this: can we imagine a world of peace? Can we imagine a world of kindness, respect, equality, and unity? If we can. If we can feel the reality of peace alive in us, beyond what appears to be in the world, if those qualities feel more real to us as the truth of life than the behaviors of anyone in this world, our peace of mind, the peace in our heart, and the spiritual qualities alive in us will naturally and automatically become visible on the canvas of this world. The second question is this: can we imagine at this age, at this time in our life, living a life that we enjoy living every day? One that includes robust health and pure happiness and unshakable peace of mind and an abundance of good everywhere we look, if we realize the creative power of good that lives in us and allows us to create all the good that we can imagine, our life can become all of that and more. We're free to create a way of being that we love to be every day. One that allows us to see a world that we love to see every day and to live in every day. Now, for quite a while, the world as reported by the media has seemed to me to be like an angry circus where all the lions and tigers and bears are running amok, and all of the tamers are hiding in the rafters, shouting fearfully at them. And so, I stopped watching the news. And I started binge watching the reels on Facebook. You know, the reels that show up and that made me feel happy, that made me laugh, that made me feel good about life. Now, some may think that's a waste of time. And some may think it's not prudent not to be current with media news. But the preciousness of babies and toddlers, the joyful craziness of puppies and dogs and kittens and cats, the funny outtakes from comedy TV series, the amazing beauty of nature, the extraordinary works of art, and the words of wisdom by spiritual teachers that are all on those reels remind me that life is good, truly good, and it keeps me high on happiness. Now is the time for us to rise as high as we can. Now is the time for us to be very present with our thoughts and feelings and intentionally keep our mind and heart completely open to love and to grace and to goodwill to all the world. Søren Kierkegaard, who is a Danish theologian and philosopher and poet, wrote, "Our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts." I'm convinced that there is enough manifested good in this world already, and infinitely more for us to feel within us. And if we do, and as we do, as we focus on the good within us and around us, our vibration of creation stays high in the power of happiness and appreciation, so that the dominant thoughts that come to our mind, that occupy our mind, manifest more good in the world. To remind each other that life is truly good. Now, today's talk, as Reverend Kim mentioned, is Life is Performance Art. And a few Sundays ago, we talked about what it means to be an example life. And A Course of Love told us that to be an example life is to be what we represent in truth, a divine being in individual form. one way or another, we are all living examples right now, setting an example in this world of what we believe is true about ourselves and this life. A Course of Love tells us to experience what is and to acknowledge what is. One must be present as a human being. To experience what is and to acknowledge what is as being a gift of God is to be present as a divine being having a human experience. Even though we've heard the words a lot, do we believe we're a divine being right now while we're having this human experience? Or do we think about and talk about our humanness so much that we just feel like a limited human? Do we believe that we're a spiritual being created to create a world that, right here, a world of joy, right here on earth, by intentionally thinking thoughts that feel good? Or do we forget in our daily conversations with others that our focus on what's not good in the world matters? Do we look at each moment as a gift of God and feel the holiness, the sacredness of our human experience within it? Or do we focus on this world as being separate from God? We could say that each of us, through our example, is giving the performance of our life. As either a limited human being, vulnerable to the world, and handing over our power to someone else, or as a divine being, using the creative power that lives in us to create what we want to experience as we live in this human environment. The only thing that can prevent us, the only thing that can prevent us from making our life a living work of spiritual art is the belief that we don't have what it takes to do that. Vincent van Gogh wrote, "If you hear a voice within you say you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced." We're created to be a beautiful, kind, joyous, peaceful, human example of love on earth, and to create beautiful, kind, joyful, peaceful expressions and forms in this world, using the vibration of love that created us. If a voice within us tells us that we can't create a life we love living every day, then by all means we should focus on doing just that. And that voice will be silenced, because we're no longer focused on what we can't do, we're focused on what we're created to do. We are all artists of the universe. Our life is our canvas. We create our life experiences using the energy-filled brushes of thought in our mind. We're all thinkers, and there is an art to thought. A Course of Love tells us, creating like unto the Creator may be used as a definition for the art of thought. We're all doing it every day. The Creator is the pure, positive source energy of life that creates worlds and creates our world. The vast, endless universe that we live in is powered by love. If we want to create like unto the Creator, which is love, which is pure positive energy, we need to let our mind and our heart be powered by love and nothing else. Nothing else. Now, I've read this quote before, but it is so beautiful, and I know we love it, so I'm going to read it again. It's from The Way of the Heart. Love is the essence of what you are. If God is love and love is the essence of what you are, then this can only mean that the essence of you is God. Right here, right now, with not one thing that must be done to earn it, to shape it, to get it. Love is the only power that is keeping us here in these forms, in this awareness. We can't lose the power of love to create in our life, because if we did, if that power weren't with us right now, we couldn't create anything. We couldn't see anything, wanted or unwanted. If we're aware right now that we're alive, then God lives in us. We wouldn't be able to see our body or our relationships or our bank account or anything else we experience as our world without God in us. If we're not happy with the life we're living right now, then there's nothing to stop us from changing any or all of it. By being present within it, with the awareness that we're a divine being, having a human experience, powered by a love that wants us to create the world in a beautiful way, as beautiful as we can imagine it to be. As long as we don't get in our own way with thoughts that oppose our good and the good of the world, no matter what's happening in the outer world, there is never, ever anything or anyone to fear. God is beyond the problems of this world and yet is present in every solution. We are spiritually beyond every problem that seems to be, and yet we are present as the solution. There's a term in art called pentimento. It's when an artist paints over an existing painting to make changes. Maybe changes a hand to a hat, a tree to a boat. The word pentimento comes from the Italian word pentirsi, which means to repent. In the New Testament, the Greek word for repent, metanoeo, is used 22 times. And it's often translated through the many Bible versions as a warning to turn away from sin and turn towards God. In ancient Greek philosophy, Repent meant to change one's mind, to change one's purpose, to change one's point of view. Repent. As performance artists, we can do that too. We can make as many changes to the canvas of our life as we want to by changing our mind and our point of view. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Man alone has the power to transform his thoughts into physical reality. Man alone can dream and make his dreams come true." When an artist is painting a picture, he or she often stands back from the canvas to take a look at it, to see if the brushstrokes are creating the work he or she has in their mind and in their heart and wants to create on the canvas. If necessary, the artist adds to it or paints over it with changes that feel right. If we don't like what the brush strokes of the thoughts in our mind are creating on the canvas of our life so far, we can add whatever thoughts we like. We can paint over old thoughts with new thoughts so that the changes feel right to us. We make those changes with brushes of thought filled with love, with peace, with joy, and happiness. Aristotle said the aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. If we want our life to be an example of love on earth, if we want our human performance to have inward significance, we are free to repent every moment if we need to, until we no longer think or say or do anything that shows up in our life as anything but love. Namaste. All right. Well, thank you again for being here. Thank you again for being there in the camera. All of you fit into that small space. Thank you for finding us on video during the week. Just thank you to all of you who care enough to consider what LEC has to say and then to implement that in your life. That's all that matters. And thank you for your financial support, because it is keeping us warm on this cold day. It is giving us lights to see and be seen. And we are so grateful for all the financial support so far. And yet, to do what we truly want to do, to expand and to grow, requires more support. Not from those of you who already give. Thank you for that. But for those who are wondering how I can keep doing this with no support, Well, the answer is we can't. And so if you like what you hear here, if you'd like to see more of it, if you'd like to feel a part of it, then join us financially, support it financially. And if you don't know how, then our wonderful treasurer, Dr. Jamie Phillips, is here to tell you how. And thank you for waiting till I was through.
You're welcome. Good morning. And the hits just keep on coming. Another home run today. Whoo! Yeah. Okay, if you would like to donate to the Life Enrichment Center and you're watching this online, there's a few ways to do it. The first is on Facebook, where we do the live stream. And you can go to facebook.com/Life Enrichment Center. There's a donate button on that page. You can go to our website where all of the great talks and podcasts are, and there's a donate button on that site. It's lecflint.com. If you'd like to donate via PayPal, you have a PayPal account. Our email address for PayPal is lec2512@gmail.com. And you can hit the donate button on that site, and the monies come straight into the bank. And if you'd like, you can write a check. We have a P.O. Box, Life Enrichment Center, P.O. Box 321-294, Flint, Michigan 48532. And here in the sanctuary, we'll be taking an offertory while we listen to the beautiful voice of Marcia Allen singing in this very room, followed by a gratitude prayer by Reverend Stephanie. Thank you.